tying that into step 5.
That is step 5.
Yes.
That's
yes.
exactly what step 5 is.
Yes.
I'm having a step 1 moment and I'm loving it because I understand the value and power of contrast, and because I know that I'm not a resistant person. I know that I'm an aligned person who's having a contrasting moment. You might want to remember this forever. Ready? Really ready?
Yes.
When you made the decision to come into your physical body from non-physical, you jumped right into step 5. Boom. Right into contrast, loving it. Right into contrast, loving it. Remember you cried your way in? Right into contrast, loving it. You knew, I'm going into contrast, but you know what else you knew? I'm going into expansion. I'm going into deliberate creation. I'm going into creating my own reality. I'm going into purposeful living. I'm going into the joyous leading edge of creation. I'm pure, positive energy, deliberately choosing contrast for expansion. Not just contrast for my expansion, contrast for the expansion of the universe at large. Contrast for the expansion of the source within me. Leading edge contrast for leading edge expansion. And then you get here and you go, ooh, I'm sure I didn't mean any of that. Yes, you did. You just forgot.
Love contrast. If I'm loving...
Nope. Step 5 is love and contrast.
Love and contrast.
Does your inner being notice that you are in a state of contrast? And does your inner being have to join you in the trauma? And if your inner being did, would you feel negative emotion? Isn't the existence of negative emotion proof of the love source is?
Yes.
Even while you're having negative emotion?
Yes.
Did you get that? So love and negative emotion can coexist because your inner being is always love while you are having negative emotion. Well, that must be helpful somehow. That must be helpful to know that even in the negative emotion that you're feeling, that the only reason that you could even feel it is because of the love that the broader part of you is experiencing in the same moment. That has to be helpful. Think about it for a moment, isn't it? Isn't it? No, Abraham, I wish that you weren't loving, and then I wouldn't have to feel this negative emotion because of my inability to focus where I mean to. If you would take your contrast in smaller doses, this would all be easier for you, which means if you would understand momentum and sense it when it gets going. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever thought something, and when you thought about it, it didn't feel good? Then you said it out loud. And then you thought, well, that was dumb. But there it is out there. It's out there, the momentum. And then you're embarrassed that it's out there, so now you try to defend it. Can you feel how the momentum's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? Any step along the way, you could shut it down. You could stop the momentum. You could change the subject or pivot by looking for positive aspects within it. It's interesting that all these years later, we're having the same conversation, but can you feel the leading edginess of it? Yes. Can you feel the fine-tuning that you're doing here in this? Yeah. Enough?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Good.